that'll bring us to our next question, and our final question for the evening. I've pointed out that very often we get out the vehicles while we're out on our game drives and walk around through the bush, perhaps following tracks to go fetch something to explain to everyone. And what are the risks of snakebite? Do we wear some protective gear? Do we just take the risk? How do we actually deal with that? What are the risks when it comes to snakes out over there? You have a little chuckle over there. It sounds like you have something to say, Jan.
No, I was just thinking. Sorry, it's out in the bush. Obviously, the chances of getting snake bitten is much larger. But I mean, we had a close experience here in the FCC with the puff adder, and Alex came to save me with a very big puff adder. I mean, it happened right here, and I mean, it's still the bush. It's a couple of meters closest or to the closest fence. So, but yeah, it is. I think the possibility is probably bigger than in here getting bitten by a snake in here in the FCC than in the bush, though.
Probably true, huh?
Yeah.
Well, my father used to always say, Phil and Jill, and I'm sure lots of other people that might be concerned about snakes as well. He always said that the two most dangerous things in Africa are snakes and dehydration, and bear helps for both of them. So I'm never too worried about snakebite, as long as we've got a few beers back here. But that's all in good jest. I think the chances of getting bitten by a snake just randomly walking around is certainly possible, but very, very small. I know, Marco, I'm sure you do as well. I know probably 10 different people that I've worked with over time that have been bitten by snakes. Every single one of them, either in handling or catching or moving or playing or some variety of that. Personally, again, I'm sure all of us at some stage or another have stood very close to snakes, almost stepped on them, almost trod on them, and they try and get away, or they warn you, or they do something. The chance of actually getting bitten is possible, but I would say very small. It's probably more likely to hurt yourself in some other way.
Yeah, I think
the hull of Jack or something.
Unfortunately, we have been our minds have been played with some pretty hectic Hollywood films about crazy snakes and really aggressive snakes and so on. And snakes, of all means, they can be extremely dangerous animals. But the snakes we get out of here don't feed on humans, So I mean, the chance of a snake actually. Let's hope it never gets over there. We'll have to change industries if it gets to that point. But the snakes don't feed on us, so they won't actually go out and look for a person. Now, snakes don't. They have fantastic hearing organs, not exposed, but hearing organs that will pick up our vibrations. Now, imagine a small reptile, a meter, 2 meters, even 3 meters, picks up the vibrations of a 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 kilogram animal as a human approaching them. This is a potential threat for this animal. They could actually be more injured by us than we could be by them. So it's more than likely that they would move out of the way to kind of a defensive position to really get away out of our path. There are some snakes, however, which is the one that you were talking about, that can be quite lethargic and like to just curl up in a little ball and not move and hope you don't see them, the puff adder. I mean, there's always the risk in an unlucky situation that it could happen. But with the right precautions and understanding the animals, chances are, again, unlikely. You just got to be careful.
I think it's a risk small enough that you don't have to consciously be aware of it. It's going to happen, then it's going to happen. I also think another point, again, I'm sure lots of people wonder that often when we get out of the vehicle, I'm sure that people imagine themselves in that space. But keep in mind, and I'm not saying this to be melodramatic at all, but really keep in mind that this space that we're moving around in, for all of us to some extent or another, really is home. I feel honestly more comfortable walking around out here in the bush by myself with no firearms or anti-snake venom or GPS or whatever, more at home literally than walking around on the sidewalk of a safe city that I enjoy. Just because it really is something I've grown up with to some extent and wanted to learn more about. So it really is something that you walk around with a different awareness maybe than someone that's not used to it. So it's not a case of walking around looking out for potential threats. It's more just walking around being aware of of the same as you would be in a city of cars driving in the streets and you know, someone with a ladder on his shoulder. You just walk around aware.
Just different situations, different possibilities, different encounters, and yeah, it's a very good point. I mean, I feel exactly the same. I mean, I feel more at home here than I do in a city, and once you understand how things operate out here in the bush, you're able to identify what potential threats are, and these are the things you become aware of. And just from all the discussions that we've had tonight, really, about elephants coming down to snakes and the insects you have to watch out for, and but they just become part of your understanding, and you don't actively go around with this mass paranoia looking for these things. It's just things that you know and become comfortable with, and life just continues, and you enjoy it very much.
Maybe that's even partly why people like sitting around a fire. You know, for many generations, hundreds of generations, we were terrified at night. As humans, we used to maybe sit in a little cave when we matured a little bit. Before that, we probably hung around in trees like the baboons do. We didn't have masks back then. So you had these various things to make you comfortable with your surroundings. In the day you were fine, you could see and you could make plans and you could work as a group. But at night you were terrified of the dark, and you had a fire to sit around, so that would make it more comfortable. And the same goes for just understanding animals better. You know, 100 years ago, very little was known about how these animals operate, but now you can talk to people that have got lots of experience, that have researched it, studied it, and you can start feeling more at home in this environment. The same as you guys could. You know, everyone that goes and drive with us, there's people now that, you know, they're comfortable out there.
Absolutely. Yes. I hope that as you spend more and more time with us out on our drives and around the campfire and the stories and the discussions we have, that you get to learn all about all of these things, and when you find yourself out over here, you too feel comfortable as we do. Because it is really beautiful to be able to share everything that we have out over here with you. But I think that slowly brings us to the end of our evening. It's been fantastic sitting around chatting with you guys and chatting with everyone out on that side. I think we're going to probably continue sitting around this campfire and carry on this conversation. It's,
might as well, nothing else to do. So it's
it's been a great night, and thank you very much for joining us around the fire. From WildEarth, and from myself, Marco.
From here.
Guys, and from me as well. And first of all, thank you very much for joining us, and also looking forward to seeing how this develops, and lots more talking around the fire. It really is a fantastic place. The Bush Television, and we'll see you around it next Sunday again. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.